Before we begin the video, if you haven't yet, come on down and join my Discord server. Link is down in the description. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for our review of the second to last episode, the Upply Strike Back. Fun fact, this episode's name could very likely be a reference to Star Wars V, The Empire Strikes Back. Vangelis plans to actually execute the ninja, death by a dragon apparently, and he reveals he does indeed have the Blades of Deliverance. Cole, Wu, and the Upply arrive and make a plan to take back the blades, and this works and Cole goes off to face the sorcerer while the Upply free the Months and Geckos. And so one of Ninjago's best fights ever begins, and the Ninja, Months, and Geckos wage a fight against the skeletons, and the final battle of Master of the Mountain begins. So a big issue in the last two seasons was that the finales were just rushed, and a simple solution is to make the finales 2 episodes instead of 1. And I think this episode solves that because the final battle does begin in this episode, and at the end we kind of get a 2-episode finale rather than the 1-episode finales we had for the last 2. Obviously, this fixes the issue of the finale being rushed, but also this gives us more screen time for the final battle, which is great. One thing I've noticed about DHX is the finale battles tend to be some of the best stuff in the season, and my favorite DHX fight still remains the Game Over battle. So seeing more of the final battle, definitely a good thing. And my god, Cole versus the Skull Sorcerer is an amazing fight, absolutely incredible, and we're not even at the peak or highlight of it yet, but it's already the best fight this season has to offer. Everything about this fight is awesome, the music, the dialogue, the choreography, and this is definitely one of Ninjago's top 10 fights, and the best part, we still have another episode of this. And not just Cole's duel with the Sorcerer, even the other characters fighting the Awakened Warriors I felt was really good. Anyways though, as for some other stuff, the Skull Sorcerer has a pretty big role in this episode, and his presence continues to be pretty commanding, pretty intimidating, overall really good. He again reaffirms his role as one of Ninjago's most evil villains in this episode by going so far as to plan to execute the ninja. The Skull Sorcerer / Vangelis may not be the most interesting character or creative, but what he does have going for him is he's evil, and really evil. As I've said in the past, I think this was a good decision after Unagami, who I think is a better villain than the Sorcerer, but not as evil. Here though, we get a villain with absolutely no redeemable qualities whatsoever, and I think that kind of variety is great. The Skull Sorcerer isn't the best villain ever, but he works really well as a dark and evil person, and that's what the story needed to keep it more mature. I continue to enjoy this season's humor, with examples such as the ninja making fun of the Sorcerer and Cole making his joke about villain speeches. As for issues with this episode, honestly not much, and whatever I discuss here really isn't that bad. I think a few lines and jokes are a bit out of place in this episode. For example, Cole's final line of "you talk too much," and also that part where the skeleton is sleeping on the job and isn't sounding the gong. And I guess sometimes the Upply felt a bit annoying in this episode. But yeah, that's really it. Overall, this episode had a phenomenal plot and was really good. What I really enjoyed about this episode's plot is it kind of does serve as the first part of the finale, and it avoids confining everything to episode 16, therefore making it less rushed. As for characters, this episode doesn't really have any development or growth, but I still felt Cole and the Skull Sorcerer were really cool. And yeah, I really enjoyed Cole in this episode. I felt his dialogue was all really good, and he only gets better in the finale. And as already explained about the Skull Sorcerer, he comes across as really evil in this episode, and I think that's definitely the right direction for him. And as for action, the duel between Cole and the Skull Sorcerer was definitely all it was hyped up to be. Incredible fight, really well animated, and it only gets better from here. Hey, lastly, emotion, we're gonna skip that. I'm gonna give this episode a final rating of 9.5 out of 10. This is definitely the best episode of the season so far, but spoiler alert, the finale will steal that title. I think it provided a really nice setup for episode 16, and definitely would have had me really hyped for it. I'm gonna save the best for last, and tomorrow we'll be back to review episode 16, The Son of Lily. Thanks for watching guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone and everyone you know. Leave a comment explaining your thoughts on season 13's penultimate episode, The Upply Strike Back, and I'll see you next time.